who's going to get this party started?
Miss Sherry? Oh, she's in the back? Oh, she's talking in the back.
Hey, Frank.
I'm like, okay, four of my girls are here. I'm like, where?
Oh, we're getting water?
Like,
Oh,
somebody needs
Great. Do you mind
to
pouring
help
it
her.
for us?
Does it look better from sitting back or forward? I'm too tall.
Thank you so much.
We're all sitting forward.
You tell me when you're ready. And then start? Okay. What time do you have right now?
That's okay. Thank you.
And where are you going to sit for the time cues? Are you going to sit dead center? Just as long as I know where you are. I might just.
Oh, do you want some water?
Okay. Shoot.
Do you want to put hers up next to your
That'd be
side?
great. Thank you.
All right. Everybody ready? Are we ready? Ready? Okay. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. If I could have your attention. Could I just hear by a round of applause how beneficial today has been for you? Woo. Good. Fantastic. We want to thank the state of Michigan and, of course, First Lady Sue Snyder for leading the charge on this very, very important topic. My name is Sherry Jones, and I'm going to be your moderator for today. I would like to welcome you to the state of Michigan's panel discussion on ending sexual assault on campus. Again, we are joined by some very distinguished guests. We'll be really having a conversation with you about this very pertinent topic in our community. I'm joined today by Senator Tanya Shootmaker from Allegan and Van Buren counties. Thank you for joining us. Also, Senator Rebecca Warren from Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor. To my left, State Representative Laura Cox from Livonia, State Representative Marilyn Lane from Fraser, and Debbie Kane, the Executive Director of Michigan Domestic and Sexual Violence Prevention Treatment Board from DHS. Thank you all. Let's give them a big round of applause for joining us here today. At this time, I would like them to introduce themselves to you, so we will start first with you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Tanya Shootmaker. I'm the state senator for the 26th district, which includes Van Buren, Allegan, and into a portion of Kent County. So I've got some constituents back there. They're still here. It's great to see everyone so here. I want to just thank you for the role that you all play. You look at this room, and if we can go out and multiply the voices that we have heard to go out and to empower, inform, and to really be a catalyst for change in the culture and go farther. And I also want to thank the First Lady for the job that she has done in playing a role of a catalyst. This is your idea. This is your baby. In the legislature, we've appropriated $500,000, as was mentioned before, to really go out and carry on this mission. So that's myself.
All right, fantastic. Senator?
Well, thank you very much. And I just want to echo a little bit of what my good friend and colleague, Senator Shootmaker, said. And it is to say there are very few women in the legislature right now. We are a very small group of people. And the women that I have had the chance to be the co-host of this summit with, are some of the best leaders in the state, not just the best women leaders, but the best leaders. So it has been a pleasure for me to work with them in the build-up until this big summit today. And First Lady Sue Snyder, who has not put her name behind very many things in this role, and the fact that she's here all day with us, that she's been with us in the months leading up to this summit really shows the commitment that she has, and we thank her very much for her leadership. What we've been doing in the legislature, I think, to set the groundwork for this is that appropriation that you heard about, and our colleagues on the House side had a little easier time keeping that money in the budget. On our side of the dome, we had to fight a little harder, but Senator Shoemaker and I were committed to putting our state's money where our mouth and where our values are. So we fought to make sure that that appropriation was included, and we got that done, which was a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to be here today and talk about that.
All right, thank you, Senators. Representative?
Hi, my name is Laura Cox. I represent the 19th District, which is basically the city of Livonia. One of the things I always tell people about myself is I'm a mom first, obviously, and I have my daughter and some of her sorority sisters from the University of Michigan here joining me, and I thought it was really important, and I asked them, and they all jumped up to the task to come and attend, and I think it's a really great way for them to show how they want to be leaders on their campus and how important it is to them, and I think that that's really great. I'm also a cop. I used to be a cop for 13 years, so I come from a law enforcement background. I'm a Spartan, and I think it's really important to take a stand on this issue and to talk about something, and I always tell my kids and people that I meet, it's always difficult in life, and when something's really important, sometimes it's very uncomfortable to do, and I think that the First Lady kind of said, you know what, this is something that's very uncomfortable to talk about, and I'm going to take it by the horns, and I'm going to talk to people in the state of Michigan, and I think I want to applaud her for doing that. I think it's a very important topic, and I think that it's really great to show how many people came here to talk about it and how many people are still here, because it's been a very long day and a very informative day. I'm just really happy to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. Representative?
Hi, I'm Representative Marilyn Lane. I come from Macomb County, District 31, Fraser Clinton Township, Mount Clemens. And I have to just echo what all my colleagues have said up here. It's a complete honor to be serving here with my colleagues and be a part of this panel. And I have to say great thanks to the First Lady for bringing this initiative forward. But this was really over the top. You know, listening to the empowering stories of the survivors and changing our mindset from victims to survivors and being able to have that communication. And there's so much that we've all learned. The stories I've heard throughout the whole day of people that either been a survivor or somebody that's known somebody. This has truly been an amazing opportunity, and I think we have so much more we can do. And it begins with, you know, people coming forward and communicating and build that trust. And we want to be able to build that trust so people know that when they come forward that there's going to be a system that's going to protect them and that they can trust that and they can trust that things are going to be okay. So I think this was a really great step, and I think that really brought that awareness forward. So for that, First Lady, thank you very much. I, too, have a mother and had a daughter that had gone away to college, and it's always our fear for all our children, whether there's boys or girls, when they go away and they leave the house, you know that first fear as a mother. You just can't help but to worry what lies ahead of them. So this is something that impacts everybody's lives. So this is a wonderful initiative, and I'm only thankful that I'm here to be able to work with these wonderful leaders and these wonderful ladies.
Thank you, Representative. And of course, Debbie Kane.
Thank you. I'm Debbie Kane. I moved to Michigan 30-some years ago, right out of college, as a new college graduate, and this has been my life's work and passion for that 30-some years, and I'm so grateful to be here today and surrounded by such an amazing group of women leaders and by the First Lady's energy and commitment to this issue. It's so gratifying to see how far we've come in this movement and unfortunately, how far we have yet to go. But to have such commitment and energy in this room and to feel the energy of a new generation of students who are coming in and their desire to change things and move us ever forward. I feel such energy. Michigan is my adopted state, and I'm here 30-some years later because I love this state dearly, and I feel such desire and commitment and such belief that we're going to move forward and that indeed we are going to end campus sexual assault.
All right, thank you very much. Well, as you can see, very excited to be here and really open this discussion. So probably one of the first things we need to talk about is what has the state already done? The state has taken a lead in this issue, but what has the state already done? Because for this to prevent sexual assaults on campus, we must work together. So would you like to start?
Well, I personally have always put a focus towards the crime victims' rights, which does carry over. Sexual assault victims are crime victims. And so we've put forth appropriations. We also dealt with, in Representative Cox's district, the rape kits that were going untested in Wayne County. And so we've just really put a focus in terms of correcting the procedures from before and really changing the culture and the mindset.
Yeah, I agree with what the senator said. And one of the other things that we're doing is talking about it and trying to figure out, are the different departments, the university departments, as well as the local police and the prosecutors, are they collaborating together, are they talking together? And we're finding out that that's happening more often. You know, sexual assault is the #2 violent crime in the country right now, besides homicide, which is really a sad fact. And so, you know, it's a crime. It's a crime, and it needs to be treated as a crime, and the victims need to be treated with all the respect that all victims of every crime are treated. And I think the more that we talk about it, the more that we pay attention to the procedure and all the policies that go into those kinds of crimes, I think that will have positive effects to hopefully deter and end crime, that crime of sexual assault, as well as make the process better for anybody who happens to still have to be into that system.
Marilyn, you were talking about the voices that you heard today based on that testimony from the rape kits.
Yeah, it was amazing how, you know, it's just becoming more and more aware. And, you know, the governor's put a lot of big emphasis, too, on legislation that's already been adopted for giving that privacy protection for our victims, and also being able to have stronger penalties to try to deter this. So, I mean, there's so much that's needed to come here, but I think really it's important when you listen to everybody, and this was really successful because of everybody that participated. That's what made this so successful, is the fact that they have to have that trust, they have to have that place, they can communicate and tell their stories and be empowered, and that continues to go. So I think there's being a lot done here in Lansing, and I think there's still more that we can do.
One of the things I think that is the most important that we can do is try to encourage people to report this crime. We know this is one of the most underreported crimes that we have, and one of the reasons people are worried that they will be believed or will they get the justice that they seek. And those untested rape kits, I think, hang over our head as something we have to resolve to show people that we will take their cases seriously, that they will get the justice that they need. And so this legislature in the last few years has taken the steps to put new timelines in place for when those kits have to be tested, has actually appropriated money not just in one budget but in 2 budgets to say we have to get these tested so that any new victims that are in a position of having to decide whether they're going to come forward or not know that they're going to get treated with the dignity and the justice that they deserve.
And if I could add, part of that is also that in the new legislation in the past session, that's actually included that previously victims were only given 24 hours to go in and get a kit done. That's been extended to 120 hours post-sexual assault. They're now also notified that they can be assured that they can get a kit done without any charge to them because Victims Comp will actually pay for that kit for them. So there are a number of different new provisions that have been put in place in the recent legislation to assure victims that they can be notified about the information that tells them where their kit is. We're looking at new tracking systems to give victims more notification. And these are all absolutely critical provisions that will do exactly what our legislators are talking about, make victims feel more confident that they can not only report that a sexual assault happened, but have more information and feel more control over exactly what happened to their kid.
Well, let's continue the conversation off that. How do we get people and students to be more confident about reporting? How do we change the culture so that there is security in reporting? Can you answer that? Speak to that, Debbie?
Well, I think a big piece of that is going back to some of the presentations that we heard earlier today, and that is really looking at that trauma-informed response, that we have to empathize with the victim, not judge that victim's response to us, not immediately begin pressing for, well, why did you do this, or why did you react that way, not press for immediate, concrete information, but make it an environment where students feel that they can come forward and not be judged, and come forward at the time and in the manner that makes the most sense to them. That's an important first step. Giving students information as soon as we possibly can about how and to whom they can safely report information, and doing that in as many ways as possible, as soon as possible, doing it during orientation, doing it in residence halls, doing it during their Pan Hill situation, you can't tell somebody that too many times and in too many ways. Because most of us think that's never going to happen to us. And I know one of our survivors said that today, that she never thought that she would be that person. So it's really important to keep giving that message over and over again. But research has clearly shown that that first response that a victim gets from somebody will have a huge impact on how she feels about herself and what her healing process will be. So for us all to be prepared in how we respond to friends, how we respond as professionals is hugely important.
Thank you. Representative Cox, I know with your law enforcement background, you probably have some mutual feelings with what Debbie is saying.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I wanted to say is I think the training of law enforcement and counselors that deal is key because of the things we learned here today. These victims are going through their own physical, biological process, and they need to be given time to go through that, but also, the people that are involved in helping them, kind of showing them the avenues, ways that we need to be supportive, we need to understand what they're going through and not be judgmental so that these victims are absolutely supported in whatever decisions they make as they go through this, pretty rocky, treacherous process. Mm-hmm. And, we want them to come out at the end whole, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting perspective that you bring, being on both sides.
Yeah, and a mom. I'm a little bit of a mama bear. So, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, and and I think too, a big role can be played, as we all talk about, as parents, we worry when we leave, or when our children leave the home, but as parents, we have, I think, an important role we have to play, whether it's our son or our daughter going away, in preparing them that, when they get in situations, to do the right things, to be able to stand up, to give them the courage that it's okay, but a lot of that has to happen at home, and they have to be prepared. I think we get lost in the excitement of being accepted and the scholarships and getting ready for, going away, that sometimes we lose the fundamental basis, and we don't want our children to get involved when it's too late. So I think if we work at it on the beginning, the front side of it, I think that'll be very helpful. And I think as we get more and more cases where people come forward, their privacies are protected, they trust in the system, and it shows that it can be successful, more people will do it.
Senators?
I think, too, the fact that Dr. Campbell has made her full presentation available, that it's a webinar that some of our law enforcement officers are using. My own City of Ann Arbor Police Department has said that they have put a lot of their officers through the webinar training, so they might not be able to be at an all-day session like this, but they can learn. And that a lot of the stories that we heard from Detroit when the discovery of these untested rape kits, they had officers from the time who, a lot of the comments were, oh, well, if a woman didn't present and she wasn't crying, she didn't look upset, they thought that maybe she was lying, and that was a reason that some of the kits were kind of put to the bottom of the pile. And I think the more that we can share the knowledge that we learned today from Dr. Campbell's presentation to say that, no, that fight, or freeze is a real reaction that people have, and it's a neurobiological reaction. It's not their choice. And to remove the shame, I think we heard that from one of the survivors, that she, what people think, or from one of the comments of a survivor, that I was ashamed that I didn't fight. Well, it is a natural reaction, and we have to, the more that we talk about that, the more that law enforcement understands that, I think the more helpful we can be, and the more willing women will be, and survivors will be, to come and tell their stories.
And I also think as education, I'm a mother too, my daughter's going to be going off in a year, and to really, before she leaves, have that conversation with her, to be vigilant. And one of the breakout sessions I sat in on was technology, and it's amazing how technology is changing our lives. And they were mentioning about an app, both for the victim and then also for the bystanders. How many times have we seen on the news that somebody, something awful is happening to somebody, and you have 10 bystanders walk by? And so I think we can use technology to benefit going into the future.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about that. What do you see the next step being for us after we have garnered all this information? What, as a state in leadership role, what do you think should be one of our next steps?
Well, I think, first of all, we're going to get together with our leader over there and really kind of brainstorm and compile all the different information. I remarked that I'd like to have sat in on 3 more breakout sessions because I couldn't be at every place because I learned so much in each breakout session. I learned a lot from the speakers, changing my vocabulary. I was, I've said he said, she said. I'll never say that again.
Right.
So I think it's changing the culture, and certainly as policymakers, looking at what we can do into the future to really change that environment. And that's where we're also going to depend upon all of you to come forward with best practices and what we can do as a state.
And I think all of us, from the first convening that we had of the co-chairs and the First Lady, we were committed that this would not just be a one-day summit. And I have to be honest to say, this summit today has exceeded way beyond my expectations. The number of people that are in this room, where you have all traveled from, the expertise that you bring from all the different areas that you have that knowledge from. It's been wonderful to have you all in this room. But this cannot be a one-day summit. And I think you have commitment from all of the hosts and the First Lady that this is the beginning of work that we know that we have to do, and we'll look forward to continuing to work on it. I heard today from many speakers and from the breakout sessions this constant theme of collaboration, that we can't forget that we all have to work together. And she's been here as this MC and sort of a front face, but Debbie hasn't talked a lot about the work that her organization does, and all of us in our community, every single one of our counties is covered by an organization that is funded through the program that she oversees, state and federal funds, to make sure that we have crisis support and sheltering in our communities when people need it. And we can't forget as we go forward, it's not just the campuses, but the communities around them, and we all have to keep working together. And I think that's a place that you can be assured that our leadership, we will continue to lend our name and our leadership going forward to make sure that anything we can do to make those collaborations, to continue that funding, to continue that legislative support is going to be top of mind for all of us.
Fantastic. Thank you. Senator?
Representative?
Representative?
You've been promoted.
I'm good.
Thank you.
The more women in the state legislature, the better.
I appreciate that. I agree with what's been said. I mean, the biggest thing is now that we're sitting down and kind of getting to the nitty-gritty, into the details and the facts, and this is where we have to roll up our sleeves and figure out, okay, so where are the gaps in the systems that are currently in place, and where can we legislatively make a good policy impact? And so that's something that we're going to do, and we're going to take seriously. I believe all the women on the stage, along with the First Lady, think this is very serious, and we've made a commitment to stand strong. And so I'm going to take part of that. I'm not going to shirk. This wasn't I'm not a one-trick pony, so to speak. And so I'm here, for the long haul, and I really hope that, we come up with some good public policy from the starting point. And I think this was really an A+ starting point. I'm really impressed.
Great. Representative.
And I think what we take away from here, the real credit goes to the First Lady being able to have the very first step, all the universities here, the community colleges, just to be here. This is first ever in the state of Michigan to bring that collaboration together and step forward as a united front. That was huge. That was greater than, like you said, Senator, what I had expected from this turnout. So just having that as a partnership can only lead to better awareness, and along with a lot of the state programs that Debbie has in place and our technologies, I mean, we have no other chance but to continue to strive with this. So again, it's a great thanks to everybody that came forward in all these universities and colleges wanting to find that way that we can end the assault on campuses.
Debbie?
Well, I appreciate, Senator Warren, you bringing up, there's a wonderful network of sexual assault and domestic violence programs across our state, and reaching out and working with them in collaboration is an incredible step toward really colleges and universities being able to look at a network and collaboration and what we can do. And I'm so, like everyone else, so appreciative to the First Lady for her amazing efforts. It makes such a difference to have someone of her stature stand up and look at this. This is an amazing first step, and like the rest of you, I know that she intends this to be a first step, and I think it's really something that's important for the state of Michigan, and I'm excited to be there to support her in any and all efforts that she does going forward. So thank you for this opportunity.
Well, that wraps up our time for today, but we hope that you'll continue this dialogue not only at universities, but with the state and your representatives and senators. And I like this, the graphic that we use, inform, empower, and prevent. And truly, that's what we're here to do today. We hope that we've achieved that goal for you, and just really beginning to start the dialogue on this and to continue to have that. So a big round of applause for our panelists today. All right. You guys can go ahead and leave. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you so much. And as our state lawmakers are exiting the stage, at this time, I would like to ask the First Lady of Michigan, Ms. Sue Snyder, to come forward. Truly, she was the leader. She attaches her name to some very specific interests in our state: breast cancer, organ donation, and now to help end sexual assault on campus. We are very blessed to have her in our community, in our state. She's a true leader, and this is a true testament to what she values and feels is very appropriate for to begin a dialogue on. So without her leadership, we wouldn't be here today. She's tackling a huge issue. Let's please bring her forward to the stage and give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a day this has been. I am just overwhelmed. Everybody has been so awesome. And I just want to thank Sherry, not only for the introduction, but taking the time to be part of this important day. This inaugural summit has been one of the most encouraging things that I've ever been a part of. The outpouring of support and dedication signifies a positive future for this effort. Our MC for the day, Debbie Kane, deserves a round of applause. She has been amazing throughout this process, and I cannot thank her enough. She truly is an expert in this field, and I can't imagine this initiative without her. Debbie, thank you not only for your work, not only today, but every day to prevent assault and support Michigan survivors. Many of our speakers flew here today to be part of this summit. They were all incredible. Each had valuable, okay, thank you. Each had valuable insight and gave advice that we can consider and implement moving forward. I especially appreciate the courage of Lauren and Emma, our survivors. They are what this is all about. I hope everyone got a lot from this today and learned as much as I did. I found it truly fascinating. We have so many talented people in our state. Everyone has said again and again the importance of working together. Maintaining open lines of communication after this gathering will be a key in changing the culture surrounding this cause. I personally have learned so much. I do not have a science background, and the information Dr. Campbell shared with us was so helpful in breaking down a complex aspect of assault and making it so easy to understand. Our keynotes today, Gina and Leslie, provided so much insight regarding the best ways to respond to assault in ways that are compassionate for all parties. Our breakout session and other main session speakers have made me so hopeful for what can be done moving forward. It's imperative we do not stop this conversation. We know we're not going to bring an end to assault in a one-day summit. We all must continue talking, and we need to take action. As the summer passes and the new school year begins, it is my hope to visit our schools and hear about the effective and innovative things happening to further prevent assault. Whether the action is led by our students, our university representatives, or our community experts on this topic, I know this summit was just a first step in a movement that can and will make Michigan a leading state in preventing assault and protecting our young people. I want to thank you again for taking the time to be here today. I want to again thank all of our sponsors, co-chairs, and speakers for this group. And I want to thank the Lansing Center the staff for being wonderful hosts. That cake was pretty good, too. In the next couple weeks, we will post a recap of our discussions on our webpage, endcampussexualassault.com. Please check back often and use the information to implement your own initiatives. Thank you so much for everyone being here today, and have a safe drive home.